And our third semi-finalist, please. Your name, please.
Ian Sanderson.
Occupation.
Open University course tutor.
In the first round, you took the history of photography. What is your chosen specialised subject for the semi-final?
History of computers.
Ian Sanderson, you have 2 minutes on the history of computers, starting... Now, which 17th century mathematician built the revolutionary mechanical calculator based on a stepped gear wheel?
Pascal.
No, Leibniz. What was the name of Babbage's vast calculating machine which followed his difference engine and had many features of a modern computer?
Analytical engine.
Correct. Upon whose loom device did Babbage base his punch card design for the analytical engine?
Jacquard.
Correct. Which modern computer language is named after Lord Byron's daughter?
Ada.
Correct. What name was given to de Colmar's mechanical calculator introduced around 1820?
Pass.
Which Swedish father and son designed the calculating engine used to compute part of the English life table?
George and Edvard Schutz.
Correct. Who introduced punch card equipment to process returns for the United States Census of 1890?
Herman Hollerith.
Correct. In 1924, the Computing, Tabulating and Recording Company was renamed what?
IBM.
Correct. Who was the principal inventor of the ABC computer, working in conjunction with his assistant Clifford Berry?
Pass.
In 1938, which young German engineer built the Z1 binary calculator in Berlin?
Konrad Zuse.
Correct. What name was given to the electronic computer built by post office engineers and used at Bletchley Park to crack German codes?
Colossus.
Correct. Which mathematician based at Princeton wrote the influential report on the EDVAC?
John von Neumann.
Correct. In 1948, in which city did Max Newman's team build the prototype computer which ran in an electronic stored program?
Manchester.
Correct. What was the name of the computer which confounded the polls by predicting Eisenhower's landslide victory in the 1952 presidential election?
ENIAC.
No, it was UNIVAC. The automatic sequence control calculator designed by Howard Aiken is commonly known by which other name?
ENIAC.
No, Harvard Mark I. From which 2 words does the programming language Fortran derive its name?
Formula translation.
Correct. In 1958, Jack Kilby produced a prototype microchip while working for which company?
Intel.
No, it was Texas Instruments. What was the name of the computer program devised in Massachusetts which seemed to respond like a psychotherapist?
Pass.
Which computer company was founded by Jobs and Wozniak in the 1970s? You may answer.
Apple.
Apple is correct. And at the end of that round, Ian Sanderson, you have scored 12 points. You two had 3 passes. The name given to de Colmar's mechanical calculator introduced around 1820 was the arithmometer. The principal inventor of the ABC computer, working in conjunction with his assistant Clifford Berry, was John Atanasoff. And the name of the computer program devised in Massachusetts, which seemed to respond like a psychotherapist, was ELIZA. Ian Sanderson, thank you very much. And our 4th semi-finalist, please. Your name, please?
Stephen Wood.
Occupation?
Freelance English tutor.
In the first round, you took the life and works of the 13th century Buddhist teacher Nichiren. What is your chosen specialized subject for the semi-final?
American blues harmonica players, 1935 to 1965.
Stephen Wood, you have 2 minutes on American blues harmonica players between those dates, starting... Now, which song, recorded by John Lee Sonny Boy Williamson, shared its name with his first record company?
Bluebird.
Correct. Who was Sleepy John Estes' son-in-law and main harmonica accompanist?
Hammy Nixon.
Correct. Which female blues harmonica player was nicknamed Big Mama?
Willie Mae Thornton.
Correct. In 1938, which harmonica player featured in the Spirituals to Swing concert in New York?
Sonny Terry.
Correct. Who was a one-man band nicknamed Lone Cat, whose instruments included harmonica and the foot-operated bass he called a fotdella?
Jesse Fuller.
Correct. Under what band name did Jazz Gillum record with Big Bill Brunzi and Carl Martin in January 1935?
State Street Boys.
Correct. Guitarist Brownie McGee's well-known partner was Sonny Terry, but with which other harmonica player did he record in 1940 and 41?
Jordan Webb.
Correct. Walter Horton was known as Big Walter or Shaky, but under which other nickname did he make his first recordings?
Mumbles.
Correct. George Buford got his nickname from performing which Muddy Waters song?
Got my mojo working.
Correct. Who was a former Muddy Waters harmonica player whose fatal stabbing led Little Walter to write Last Night?
Henry Strong.
Correct. Who was the bebop boy who took over B.B. King's Pepticon Boy Show on WDIA Radio Memphis?
Jolie Lewis.
Correct. Who played harmonica on T-Bone Walker's 1955 recording of Play On Little Girl?
George Smith.
No, Junior Wells. Who made the original recording of I'm a Lover Not a Fighter, later covered by the Kinks?
Lacey Lester.
Correct. Joe Pugh, who died in a truck crash age 33, is better known by what name?
Forest City Joe.
Correct. In 1955, who had a hit with My Babe, written by Willie Dixon and based on the spiritual tune This Train?
Little Walter.
Correct. Which harmonica player wrote Mystery Train, which became a hit for Elvis Presley?
Junior Parker.
Correct. In August 1961, which American harmonica player made a London recording with Chris Barber and Alexis Corner?
Sonny Boy number 2.
No, Jimmy Cotton. Who played harmonica as Big Joe's buddy for Big Joe Williams' recording of Wichita on the Spivey label?
Bob Dylan.
Correct. In 1964, which American blues harmonica man had a UK hit with Smokestack Lightning?
Howlin' Wolf.
Correct. Whose song I Wish You Would was covered by the Yardbirds in 1964?
Billy Boy Arnold.
Billy Boy Arnold is correct. At the end of that round, Stephen Wood, you have scored 18 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of the first round, the specialized subjects round, a round of mixed fortunes. Let us glance at the scores. And in fourth place on 9 points is Mike Watson. In third place on 12 points, Ian Sanderson. In second place on 17 points, Michael Chivers. But in the lead at this halfway stage by 1 point on 18 is Stephen Wood. And straight on now to the second round, the general knowledge round. And may I first of all have again, please, Mike Watson. He is a computer programmer with Eastern Electricity in Ipswich. He's a Bristol man now living in Ipswich. Scored 9 points on Anglo-Saxon poetry. Your general knowledge questions are starting. Now, which French king was known as the Sun King?
Louis XIV.
Correct. Which kind of creature is a Camberwell beauty?
Butterfly.
Correct. Who was the manager of the England football team which won the World Cup in 1966?
Alf Ramsey.
Correct. The jazz musician Sidney Bechet began his career as a clarinetist, but what was his primary instrument from 1919?
Saxophone.
Correct. Which 18th century epistolary novel by Laclos has been adapted for the stage and screen by Christopher Hampton?
Pass.
The Gulf of Carpentaria is a large bay in the coastline of which Commonwealth country?
Australia.
Correct. What was manufactured by Ettore Bugatti at the factory he founded at Molsheim in 1909?
Cars.
Correct. A celebrated collection of letters providing a unique record of 15th century English